What's up, sports fans in general, for this one? A lot of people have been asking me in my comments how I became a Habs fan and a Dolphins fan. So I'm going to explain how I became a fan of all my teams, at least some of them. I'm not going to go through every single team that I cheer for because that would take forever. But all the major teams that I cheer for and explain how I became a fan of them and basically how it feels to be a fan of them. And a lot of them aren't great. We are going to start off with the Habs. Carey Price, this man right here, I have him backwards. This man right here basically got me into sports in general and made me a Habs fan. I was very young, I think like 6 or so when he was drafted. And, well, he was basically my inspiration as a kid. I loved watching him, made me want to be a goalie, and I was following the Habs ever since then. And being a Habs fan, it's a little painful at times. You saw one of your biggest rivals win a Stanley Cup back in 2011. At least the Leafs haven't done too much. But for the Habs themselves, they might not have won a cup, but there have been some pretty good moments. They made a couple runs to conference finals, and obviously that 2021 run was just incredible. I know they completely fell off a cliff the next year, but it was still incredible seeing, the last dance for Weber and for Price. And, out of all the teams I'm a fan of, they probably hurt me a lot less than most. But, still hurts. All right, so the next team and the other team on my channel is the Miami Dolphins. Now, basically, after I followed the Habs, which was my first team to follow, I wanted to follow teams that were in and around Montreal. But there was no NFL teams in Canada, as you know. So I decided to follow the Dolphins based on the team nickname and their logo. I loved sea life as a kid. And my childhood brain was like, hey, that's a dolphin. I like dolphins. I'm going to cheer for the Dolphins. So, yeah, that's basically how I became a Dolphins fan. And I stuck with them ever since. And how it feels to be a Dolphins fan. Imagine you spent your entire life saving up for a sports car. Whatever sports car you want to imagine, or your dream car in general. For me, it'd be a Challenger. And then you drive it off the lot, you get it almost home, you're in your hometown, and then you wreck it, you total it. That is every single year being a Dolphins fan. So close to the finish line, and then they absolutely fall apart. I think this team has hurt me more than any other sports team has. And it's probably not even close. I still love this team more than anything. But they find new ways to hurt me every single year. But I will never stop cheering for them. All right, so next we have baseball. Now, you may notice that in my Habs road game videos where I'm wearing the white jersey, I'm wearing an Expos cap. Because the Expos were my first baseball team. They'll always be my first love in baseball. But they left pretty quickly after I learned what baseball even was. So I'm still what I call myself a temporary Blue Jays fan, because I'm still holding out hope that maybe they'll come back, but it's extremely unlikely. Being a Blue Jays fan, for a while it was just dull pain. They didn't make the postseason for a very long time. Around 2015 was amazing, seeing them make it to the ALCS, ALDS. A couple seasons in a row, losing to the Royals, of course. But recently, it has not been fun. Recently, they've hurt me about the same as the Dolphins have, to be honest, as they have gone back-to-back seasons, breaking some of the most inept, terrible records, and baseball postseason history. The Mariners had not won a single playoff series in their existence until they met the Blue Jays. And then last year, the Twins had gone how many games or how many postseason series losing? I know most of them were to the Yankees, but still. And then we let them sweep us. And now they're currently I think they're 12-10 at this point, and they're still second last in the division. This team can't catch a break. But, well, at least it's somewhat of a distraction in the summertime. All right, next up we have the Raptors. Now, I'll admit, basketball is my least favorite of the major four North American sports, but ironically, it's the only one I've seen actually win a championship. Yeah, 2019 was probably one of the best moments of my sports life. I really just wish it was, the Habs or the Dolphins or even the Blue Jays. But you know what? I'll take what I can take. Being a Raptors fan for most of my life, at least in the younger years, they sucked. Around the time I was in high school, they just kept losing to LeBron. Everyone knows the LeBronto memes. 2019, they finally won it all. And then now they are one of the worst teams in the league. They lost every single game for a month. I think they won one game in the month of March or something like that. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. And also ending the losing streak of the Pistons. Yeah, it kind of hurts right now, but hey, we'll always have 2019. All right, now we get to one of the more confusing ones to most people, Georgia Tech. Now, I did not go to a D1 college. I went to a Division III private school. So, and none of my family members went to a D1 college. So, I really had no reason to cheer for any specific Division I college. And I picked Georgia Tech because their Buzz logo is the same as the logo for my high school. Yeah, that's the reason I picked it. I actually picked it when I was in elementary school there. But, yeah. And Georgia Tech has kind of disappointed me. I will admit I kind of double as an LSU fan, though not nearly as much as I care about Georgia Tech. Main reason I was cheering for LSU before when they played Georgia in the SEC championship games. And that championship game against Clemson, yeah, I was cheering hard for LSU then because I don't like Clemson. But Georgia Tech will always be my main love. And yeah, it's been painful, to say the least. They finally got back to a bowl game. They won the Gasparilla Bowl last year. Or this year, technically. Last year, technically. It was in December. But otherwise, the good has been few and far between. It's been a long time since they've beaten Georgia. And yes, it hurts every single time they lose to Georgia. But, maybe one day. Maybe one day they'll be back to their glory they were 100 years ago when they were dominating college football and winning games over Cumberland 222-0. But, until then, continue the suffering. Last but not least, we get to what is my favorite summertime sport. And yes, I know baseball purists, you're probably going to be mad at me for saying that. I still love baseball, but the CFL is my favorite of the summertime sports. Yes, I am a Calgary Stampeders fan, not a Montreal Alouettes fan. And this can basically be chalked up to my childhood brain again. My childhood brain was like, ooh, I like horses. I'm going to cheer for them. Even though Montreal was right there. I don't know, man. I've been cheering for all my teams since I was a kid. I don't know what my childhood brain was doing with some of them, but hey, whatever. Being a Stamps fan, it ain't that bad, especially recently. You saw that Grey Cup after the third freaking time going into the game. Yeah, it's not so bad. I mean, in a league with only 9 teams, you're likely to see a championship every couple of years, unless your name is the Hamilton Tiger Cats. But yeah. So that was basically all my teams and why I cheer for them. I hope this clears some things up for people. Blessed be, and go my favorite sports team.